What we did in Spain in 2009 is approve a law that would go after the websites, not after the users, not after citizens, but after those who really make money and make a business offering digital content that is not theirs, that they don't have any contracts or permission or anything. So no, I don't think punishing individuals it's a good way. I think you have to go after those who make the content available. And on the other hand, I think if there is campaigns that can explain to people that even though music or cinema or literature seems very glamorous in a world of magic, there's a material industry behind it, and there's many people who work to make one book or one record or one film possible. And all those people, they're not big stars. Often they are just, the accountants or makeup artists or people who live out of this business like everybody else in their business. So there should be a balance. I think what's really important is to have this idea of balance and of sustainability, that we want culture to be present in our lives for a long time. And there will be younger generations who will want to become professionals, because if you're not a professional, it's difficult that you make a great masterpiece or you make interesting films or books or music, because you have to devote many hours. So to explain this to people, I think it's a good way, on the one hand, that they can have legal content available for them, and also to know what it means that you can support an industry and that it shouldn't mean that it's expensive. In Spain, the law that I promoted was very controversial. It was very, very controversial. Those were very difficult 2 years from the project, the draft of the law in 2009 to the final approval in 2011. It was very controversial because the climate had been created, I think, a lot by the technological companies and the service providers for people to think that everything should be free without consequences. And yet the consequences are there. The market was shrinking and films were smaller and smaller and musicians could not become professional musicians because all they could live on was their live concerts and not selling recordings anymore. I mean, the whole balance, or the book industry in Spain is very important because we have the Spanish language and we have all the countries in Latin America that share our language. So it's very common that, Argentinian or Mexican or Colombian writers sell their books in Spain and vice versa. So you're losing a whole market and the whole opportunity of the Spanish language. So it was crucial that we prevented, the book industry from collapsing. I think I'm very optimistic. That is the truth. I'm very optimistic. I see changes every day, and I see that countries like Spain, where the piracy levels are very high, on the other hand, new platforms, legal platforms are opening, and people are becoming subscribers, and they are appreciating that it's good to be a subscriber, it's convenient, and you have access. So I think there will be a change. I think internet has made us all change our habits very fast in the way we shop, in the way we communicate with each other, and so that means that bad habits can be forgotten also very fast, and new habits will become very familiar to us. So actually, I am very, very confident that we will see a good change of events in the next few years and a more balanced landscape for digital content. I think only in very few cases, like film students who want to watch, a very special film, will not be able to find what they want in the internet. I think today, in 2016, you can find a lot of content on the internet. And I think if the legal market gets broader and bigger, then we will have more and more legal content. So we need to have a sustainable market for old films or classic films or all these things that we might want to watch again and are not right now available to be available more and more. And I don't think that example of things not being available is it's really, I think there's a trick to it, because in music everything is available, because music is small data, so it was easy for the music companies to have it legally available, and yet music is illegally downloaded massively, even though you can access it legally. You've been able to do it for a long time because its technology allows for that. So it's not really, it's an excuse sometimes. And in very exceptional cases, like I said, you might want to, it happens to us who are in the film industry, maybe you want to write an article about this old Polish film or old Spanish film, and it's not readily available. I can understand that could happen, but more and more you will find a way to see that film. I think more and more people are aware that it's not something that you should do. Even though they do it, at least now they are not, they know that there's something wrong with it. And that's a step, that's an important step. Now, as far as people knowing or not knowing whether they are paying for legal or illegal content, I can imagine that sometimes people are actually subscribers to these illegal platforms. So for those people, of course, it's confusing.